Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited for today's video because it's going to be about 3 healthy ways to start a healthy lifestyle. And the first way to start a healthy lifestyle is to use the My Plate eating pattern. So if you're not familiar with the My Plate eating pattern, I will share some information about it. It was created by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, and it basically just shows a plate divided by the categories protein, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and then it has a cup of dairy at the top. And I'm so sorry if you can hear these planes. I live in a military town, so there's just a bunch of flying all day, so I'm so sorry if you can hear it. But let's continue. So the plate is divided by those food groups, and those food groups are intended to provide us with the nutrients that we need. So why I love using the My Plate eating pattern to formulate my meals is because it helps me hit key nutrients. So certain nutrients that we would lack in if we didn't use the My Plate eating pattern would be nutrients including calcium, potassium, vitamin D, fiber, even antioxidants. So that's why I find eating my meals shaped like the My Plate eating pattern to be very, very, very helpful. The My Plate eating pattern puts focus on the foods that we should eat, such as whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and even dairy. And this in turn decreases the urge to consume foods that are high in trans fat, saturated fat, and even added sugars. So for example, dairy can provide us with protein, calcium, potassium, and vitamin D if it is fortified with vitamin D. And that way you don't even have to think about consuming foods that are high in calcium. But that is, of course, if you can eat dairy, like if you don't have any intolerances or sensitivities or even allergies. Dairy is going to be super helpful for you. Just make sure that you strive for the lower fat options, because obviously saturated fat is inflammatory and it does raise our bad cholesterol levels, right? We also want to keep in mind that the My Plate eating pattern does require protein, and of course we need protein for so many different things. I mean, we need protein because it is the building blocks in our body. It creates hormones, it creates just so many neurotransmitters and many other things. So that's why when we want to make sure that we are eating protein, and the recommended serving size for protein is 3 ounces, which is about the stack of a deck of cards. So if you can just imagine a deck of cards, that's about a serving size of meat. So just when you do formulate your plate, make sure that the meat is about the size of a deck of cards, and that way you won't be consuming more than you need. But total disclaimer, I still love to eat foods that are not considered the healthiest, such as chips, fries, or even sweets. But I love using the My Plate eating pattern because when I eat all of those nutrients every meal, by the end of the evening I don't feel like binging on ice cream or sweets, because I feel full. I feel full and I feel satisfied. So I honestly found that it has helped me so much in that area. Furthermore, if you do consume sweets or fatty foods whenever you crave them, it helps you not feel like you're restricting these foods. And then obviously restricting foods leads to overeating, and it can also bring a lot of stress and anxiety. So it's best to just satisfy your cravings. If you're craving sweets, if you're craving fries, if you're craving potato chips, go ahead and eat them, okay? This is not about being restrictive and about just following a very like rigid eating plan. No, it's not about that. It's about eating healthy, and then when you do feel like eating something that is not the very best for our health, you can totally go ahead and eat it. It's all about moderation, and you are going to be so happy and you are going to feel way more in control of your life. The second way to start a healthy lifestyle is to take your time eating your food. One reason why this is an important thing to do is because by doing this, you are breathing more in between bites and in between sips of your beverage. And breathing more activates your parasympathetic system. So this is your rest and digest system. So this allows you to actually digest your food, and you're not just in a rush consuming your food, and like your cortisol levels are up and you just feel like anxious and stressed, and your body ends up just holding on to the food in your stomach. So if we are breathing in between bites and in between meals, you're activating your digest pathways, and this is just going to help you digest your food more. Another reason why taking your time to eat your food is important is because you are actually chewing your food when you take your time to eat. And when you chew your food, it helps your stomach out because it doesn't have to use so much hydrochloric acid to break down the food. And if you're not using so much hydrochloric acid, then over time you will have a stronger digestive system because you won't be just overworking it. Like, for example, if you are eating your food very fast and you're not really chewing it, your body is going to require more acid to break down the food so it can be sent off to the small intestine. And if you do chew your food very well, it's not going to require so much acid and so much work, and you won't even be that much bloated after eating because your body will just like quickly take the food and send it to the small intestine, and it won't be sitting there for like hours, just sitting there being digested. And just, we don't want to overwork our body if we don't have to. The third reason why it's important to take your time to eat is because it does take some time for your stomach to relay the message to your brain, telling it that your body is full and that you don't want to eat anymore. So if you're eating your food very fast, you're just eating more than you need, and then your body doesn't have enough time to tell your brain that you're full. So, like I said, we just end up eating more, we feel more bloated, and honestly, the portion sizes here in America are so big. So if you go to a restaurant, you're gonna get like 2 or 3 servings in one meal. And some people may think like, oh wow, that's such a deal. And it is a deal, but you literally have 3 meals in front of you. And if you're eating that very fast, then that means your brain doesn't have enough time to sense that you're full, and then you just end up eating like 3 meals in one sitting. So that is another reason why it's so important to take your time to eat. So I completely saved the best for last. But the third way to start a healthy lifestyle is to partner with God in prayer. So we all know that gluttony is depicted as a bad thing in the Bible, right? Gluttony just means like being greedy about food or eating excessively. And a lot of times we do suffer with eating excessive amounts of food, right? Because I mean, like I mentioned, the portion sizes here in America are so big. I know it's not like that in other parts of the world, like in Spain and other parts of Europe. I know that they do give small serving sizes, which I think is great. But for the most part, in certain countries, we do tend to eat a lot when we go out to eat, and even when we're at home because we're just bored or we don't have control over our eating habits. So I think that's why it's so important to partner with God in prayer and ask Him to help you with gluttony, because overall gluttony is going to harm us. I mean, first, that food could go to someone who needs it, right? Or that money spent on that food can go to different areas in your life that may need help, or they could go to someone in need as well. And secondly, if we are eating a lot of food, it can harm our health, because we obviously know that having excess weight can be harmful. Not saying that everyone who has excessive weight is unhealthy, because there are healthy people that are just bigger, and that's completely okay, right? So, yeah, just coming in prayer with God about that. But also, we know that in the Bible, self control is a gift of a fruit of the Spirit, right? So, we know that having self control is one of the greatest signs of being a Christian, because, I mean, you will have things thrown at you, maybe people who are being rude to you, or just different things, and we are called to have self-control over our emotions, over our thoughts, right? So just coming in prayer, coming in partnership with God, and telling Him to help us with gluttony and to help us have more self-control, I think is by far the most important thing that we can do to have a healthy lifestyle. But I'm so excited that you guys just stayed and watched the entire video, and I hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed week. I love you guys so, so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Mwah.